Welcome to How to RC and Battery Basics Part 2 Charging Batteries. Let's have a look at our battery charger. When NiCads were the most popular, charging them was pretty simple. These packs you could charge at a rate of like 5 amps and get away with it. And we used to discharge them all the way to 0 by taking a couple of automotive, 12-volt light bulbs and soldering them in series and putting them on a plug and hooking them on the battery and flat, take all the juice out of the battery, and that ensured that you would get full capacity in the battery when you went to run it. 9-mins came along. We don't have to do any of that. 9-mins don't care if they're full, half full, or almost empty. They'll charge right up to full capacity. If you're bashing in the backyard or racing, make sure on any of these batteries that you don't charge them when they're warm. Let them cool. I know when we were racing during the summer and it was real hot, we take and put them in the cooler with the drinks and cool the batteries off before we charged them again. These are great batteries. Then we come up to Lipos. Now Lipos are great batteries too. They just have a couple of little quirky problems. You don't want to discharge these batteries below 3.2 volts or you'll ruin the cells and they won't take a charge again, which is kind of inconvenient and expensive. And if you've been running something with these, a boat or a car, your charger that you have for these probably won't do Lipos. You're going to have to get a charger that does Lipos. It's pretty easy to find a charger that does all three. This little charger here is a Turnigy. When you go looking for chargers, you'll see that the form factor of this charger is very popular. You'll see a lot of chargers out there with 4 buttons in order to program the charger for the type and size of the battery. You have to tell it whether it's a NiCad, a 9-min, a Lipo, or a Li-Fi. You have to tell it what the voltage is, and if you're wrong, it'll tell you. And you have to tell it the capacity. So like this is a 7.2, but the capacity is 4,800. So I'm going to charge this battery at 4.8 amps. This little bitty battery here, this little 3-cell Lipo at 11.1 volts with a rating of 460 milliamps. I'm going to charge this at 0.4 amps. Okay? And I'm going to charge it in a metal container. Because the urban legend isn't an urban legend. These batteries actually catch fire. Now this is a military surplus ammo can. Okay, I bought it in a yard sale, but it was for .30mm machine gun ammunition. And I've been charging my batteries in it for a couple of years. Put my battery in there, charge leads sticking out, close the lid, and charge my batteries. Haven't had any problem until the other day. Apparently, when I crashed my plane, my battery was just velcroed on the side of a foam plane, and it came down on its corner and the cell ruptured. So I'm down here and I'm charging batteries and I smelled something funny. I was at the other end of the shop. I didn't think much of it at the time. But the smell got stronger. And I thought, what the heck is going on? I turned around and I looked at this case and this black smoke billowing out of this thing. And there was a really intense fire going on in there for a short while. But it was in there. All I had to do was wipe a little black stuff off of the shelf. If it had been sitting on my kitchen table, we'd have had a real problem. You know, if you're going to charge these things, you really need to put them in a metal container. Here's a metal container. This is a metal can. I got it for Christmas. You could put them in there. It would keep the fire from spreading. It's still going to, you can't, I don't know if you could seal that up tight or not. Well, your leads are going to stick out, so it's not going to be completely tight. Anyway, put them in a metal can. Buy one of those Lipo Charging sacks that they offer at the hobby shops and online. Most of these chargers plug into a 12-volt power supply or an automotive battery. Goes in like this, gives you a couple of alligator clips, you put it on a car battery. Well, that's okay if you're outdoors. What do? Bring the car battery inside? Well, you can, or you can get a power supply. It dawned on me one day that a computer power supply is a very well regulated 12-volt power supply. So I took it apart, got rid of all the other stuff in there, the 5-volt and all that stuff, and then just wired up these two bolts here to be my outputs. And now I just clip my charger right on there and charge them in the house. There's many videos out there to tell you how to do this. I've done a couple of them. This little guy here is probably a 400-watt supply. It'll supply more juice than this battery charger is going to need. And it's just very convenient. So I guess that's it for charging Lipo batteries.